So today I want to tell you my story. And the purpose of this story is to let you know that anybody can be rich. Everybody can be rich. You can be rich. That's the truth. And so I want you to listen carefully to my story. I'm going to be very, very brief with this story. So I am the only boy, the only son to my parents. We are six of us, and I have five sisters. And you know what that means when you are the only boy in the family, the pressure that comes on you, everybody's looking up to you to succeed. And I'm not the firstborn. That's the important thing you need to know. I'm the third born. So every eye is on me. Everybody's thinking, all right, this guy's going to be the one to save the family. You know what I'm saying about. You know what I'm talking about. And some of you, you don't have to be a boy. You are a woman, but everybody's still counting on you. So this is my story. My parents could not even afford basic needs. You know, my father was a hard worker, still a hard worker. He was a driver in a plantation company. My mother was a cook, you know, all of that. And they could barely make enough to feed us, talk less of sending us to school, but they did their best. So sometimes my father has to take a loan from their credit union to send us to school. And so he was always in debt. So by the time the month is ending and he's taking his salary, he has almost spent everything to try to send us to school and you know all of that. They were really good people. They are good parents, and I thank God for their lives. They could do just much. I had no elder brother somewhere I could look up to, nobody to say, okay, I'm going to call this uncle or this brother to. I didn't grow up knowing. I grew up not knowing anybody I could call, you know, if I needed without financial help or all of that. So already I started making up my mind that see, nobody's going to come and help me. That's the truth. Nobody's going to come and help me. I've got to help myself. And I need to understand how important that decision is to me. And you're going to understand why I said that in the course of this video. So what happened? Fast forward, because I don't want to bore you. I hope my story is not boring you. Fast forward. So I grew up. My elder sister was there. I have two elder sisters ahead of me, of course, because I'm the third born. Then I have the others behind me. So seeing them, I look at their lives. They were trying their best. They did their best, but it wasn't going. You know, you know when something is not just working, it's not going. They went to school, tried, and sorry to say, most of them they could not go through their education completely. And so I was coming and I made up my mind. I'm going to have to break some of this cycle. And that's why I'm going to pray for you at the end of this video. So fast forward again, I went to school, give my life to Christ. I came to meet Jesus. That was one of the best things that ever happened to me. So when I found Jesus, or what Jesus found me, because I wasn't really looking for Jesus, that's the truth. I remember my story. I'll tell you that another day. I'll share my story about how Jesus met me another day. It's a funny story. You want to know it. But when Jesus met me, everything began to turn around. Yes, some of the values that I made up my mind, some of the things I decided in my heart, even though I didn't know Jesus, became more serious to me when Jesus met me because then I saw that there were some, I mean, most of them were biblically sound. You know what I'm saying? So one of them was a decision to, you know, fight through life. I wasn't going to just sit back and blame anybody for my life. If something didn't happen to me, I wasn't going to blame my parents. I wasn't going to blame my sisters. I wasn't going to blame the nation I belong to, the government. I made up my mind. And so when Christ met me, everything began to shift and change for me. And I realized a lot. So being the only boy, there were a lot of things that I was commanded to do. I had to go to the farm. I had to cook. I had to do a lot of things. And at some point, I was very offended. There was a time I thought that my parents were not my parents because of the load of work that I had to do. What did I not do? I did almost everything you can imagine. So I passed my probatoire and I came to my baccalaureate as well. I came to Boya for school. And when I came to Boya, I stood at my 17 and I told myself one thing. I said, I'm not returning to my father's house the same way I came. I'm not returning back. And so the little money my parents gave me to come and start my life with, I took the money. I said, okay, let me go and pay for a house to stay. Guess what? I ended up with a scammer. I didn't know that they were scammers. I wasn't familiar with them. So I gave the money to a scammer. And guess what? I had no house to stay. So I was moving in the street of Boya. And I'm not going to call my parents back and say the money is missing. I'm not going to do that. They're going to collapse. You know that. So they are taking a loan to give me that money. And so I made up my mind. I'm not going to just go call them back and complain. So what did I do? How did my journey to wealth begin? Guess what? I realized that I had to take my life into my hands. So I made up my mind. I said, I'm going to use the skills that my mother trained me with. All the time my mother asked me to come and join her in the kitchen to cook and all of those things. And the first thing I did was I was not going to beg. I was not going to walk around the street and look like a beggar. So I started cooking and selling. Yes, I'm a man of God. I was already preaching. I started using those skills, and this is one of the things I want to tell you. The skills that you are exposed to while you're growing up, don't play with them. Take them serious. They may be the keys that will survive you in the day of challenge, in the day of evil. I opened a restaurant. I was cooking and selling. That's what saved me at that period of my life. And that was where my journey of wealth began. Now, I don't want to make this video very long, so I'm going to share more of my story in the subsequent time. So you want to subscribe to this channel and make sure that you listen to every story. I'm going to send more of my story to you in subsequent times. But I want to hear what you think about this short story of my life. um, what are the skills? That's the question I want to ask you. What are the skills that your mother, your father, you grew up learning? Some of those skills are the key to your financial journey. Those skills are the keys to your financial journey. And so I pray for you in the name of Jesus that the Lord is going to give you the grace to employ the skills you learned while growing up in the mighty name of Jesus Christ. So I'll see you in the next video, but I want you to leave a comment and let me see what you think about this. And if there are skills you have and you want me to help you, show you how to use them, to monetize them, I'm going to help you. I'll be at the comment section to see what you have to say about this. And so look forward to the next video. God bless you.